Alright, for a viewer request, I'm going to go over beginner breathing techniques for energy cultivation. So first we must look at what breathing is and what the organs are, etc., etc. Firstly, we have this little center here to signify the heart and the lungs. Okay, this center here is meant to signify the intestines. So you can see mainly the small intestines, but I guess you can branch out to the large intestines. While we have the channels running through the body, and we have these kinetic points here, kind of like a puddle, like a ripple or something, which is basically where the feet touch the ground. It's a kinetic, or it's a grounding point, you can think. Now, when you breathe in through your nose or mouth, you are taking in air, of course, air and nitrogen and whatever else is in there. But you can simplify it to you're taking in pressure and you're taking in air itself. Air being like a non-physical, spatial kind of element. This is what they call spirit or vapor. I believe the words of like anima. I don't know if it's anima or animus, but one of those. I think anima. Yeah, it's the world soul or the world spirit. Basically, the Earth's air. The Earth's air is its spirit. The Earth's Earth, the actual crust, the Earth, the actual physical part, is its body. And then maybe the water is its blood or something like that, you can think. Anyway, so you're taking in this kind of volatile air pressure, and what the body does is that I believe it uses the heart to make blood or pump out blood or whatever, and it infuses the blood with this air. So you take it in, you warm the air, purify it somewhat through the lungs, and then it goes through the heart and into the blood vessels through the body. So you know how they say like we have oxygen in our blood, we have oxygen in the body, and oxygen is good. You can almost say that the whole, if we're going to get into it, the whole scamdemic, I have a little hypothesis that the reason people need anti-parasitic medications is because what happens when you don't have enough oxygen in the body? What happens when the body isn't, there's various places that aren't oxygenated, is that parasites start to form because your part of your body starts to rot, and the parasites then need to clean up the rotting. So people taking anti-parasitics because there's not enough oxygen. Why is there not enough oxygen? The air has changed. Why has it changed? Well, maybe because the electromagnetic radiation, but that's another video. Going on, I believe the blood transfers this spirit, and you can kind of feel it. You can feel when your blood is full of air, it's got more pressure. Literally, it has more expansion to it. If you open, say, a bottle of hydrochloric acid, you'll see these little vapor trails kind of coming off the bottle. Even though it's just here, I'll draw a little bowl. Let's say it's a see-through bowl. Even though it's this liquid here, you've got this vapor coming off. Similar with alcohol. So when you breathe properly, your blood is oxygenated. You have this spiritual vapor within the blood. It also helps you to produce more liquids as well. So yeah, you can basically think of the heart and lungs, this which is the heart chakra, or the middle dantian, I should say, or the heart chakra, either one, is basically the spirit gathering center, or the extracting center, because the guts is more the gathering and the bladder is more the holding center, you can think. So anyway, let's get into some exercises so that we can practice this. Practical work is everything. First exercise, number 1, is now normal breathing. So what we're going to do right now is you're just going to breathe. So you're just going to breathe in and out. And you can breathe in through your nose or through your mouth, it doesn't matter. I recommend, usually if you're sitting, you're just doing not a whole lot of, you're not really too physical, you just breathe through the nose. You can breathe through the mouth if you just say you really need that extra air. The only problem with breathing through the mouth is it's not quite as warm and it's not quite as filtered. But, if you need a lot of air, you can still do it, for short periods of time or whatever. You don't want to be suffocating yourself, because you can, say if you try to breathe through the nose too much, you can suffocate yourself during heavy exercise. Anyway, just breathe slowly. And you want to feel the lungs expanding and contracting, and you've got a diaphragm. There's a diaphragm where the lungs sit on, which is basically like a muscular bowl, opposite kind of bowl, which pulls down and then pulls up when you exhale, and when you inhale, it pulls down. So just be conscious of that, feeling the pressure and the volume or the space entering the lungs. And you might feel your heart beating, and you might feel the blood. Try to feel the arteries in the body, and try to feel the heart. And notice when you breathe that you have more blood flow and more pressure. Alright, so that's exercise 1. That's the most basic thing you can do. It is simply just activating this heart and lung chakra center. And it's just learning how to breathe, learning how to focus on it. You want to practice that first, just get comfortable with the practice of breathing. Number 2 is to breathe into the intestines. Now you might wonder, and I don't mean literally breathe, because you can breathe through your mouth and breathe it into the guts. There's a yogi who smoked and brought it into the guts. He probably got high as fuck doing that. I don't mean that, but I'm meaning to transfer the volatile spirit, because what happens is that through your blood, through the lungs, and the more slowly and subtly you breathe, that the more this spiritual essence, the vapor coming off the liquid, can actually go through your organs, through your muscles, through everything in the body, and you will feel it. You basically just do this by pressure, guiding pressure. They call it air herding, which is like guiding the air, guiding the pressure, and feeling and focus, feeling of focus. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the gut, your intestines, your small intestines, which is kind of like a ball of heat inside the belly. Try to locate that. And I want you to just breathe very slowly while focusing into that area, and try to breathe down as downwards as you can into the intestines. So don't try to purposefully expand the belly and contract it, just allow it to expand naturally and to contract naturally. And you're not trying to force air and breathing so that you get really tired, but you do have to do a little bit of effort. Just say if your lungs are weak, then this will be kind of difficult. And I hope you feel, if you just keep doing that, you'll feel an expansion of the intestinal area, of which this is what we call the solar chakra, the thigh chakra, or the navel belly chakra. So just slowly breathe into them, and slower and more finely and subtly you do it, the deeper into the body you can get it, because you're breathing very hot, very subtle air. Well, if you just go that, it's more shallow because you're breathing colder, denser air, and it's harder to get it more into the body. So just try to feel that natural expansion of the belly. This is what we call spiritual cultivating, or gathering energy into into the navel chakra. And you literally should start to feel hotter. Like, for example, I'm not wearing a shirt. I am wearing a shirt right now, I should say. But it's windy. It is as grey as ash right now. There's a cold breeze coming in. It's probably about 15, 16 degrees, and people might be like, oh, that's warm as. Well, I live in Australia, so that's fucking cold for me. That's anything below 20 in Australia is jacket weather. It's cold weather. But because I am so full of energy right now, and because my energy circulates properly, I don't have to wear one. Now, this isn't to say that you should purposefully try not to wear a jacket when you're cold or whatever, because that's not very good for you. But it's just to say that if you do it, you will feel warm, because it is your intestines. It is this Martian, or the soul, or the naval fire center, which is essentially reducing your body's heat, the digestion. So if you can do that correctly, that's level 2. And now we can go to level 3. Now, level 3 is where we're going to learn to ground the energy. Now, you can also, for example, breathe into any of the other chakras. If you breathe into the bladder region, which is the water chakra, you will become full of piss. If you breathe into the throat region, your throat will open up, etc. If you look up a chakra chart, you can just breathe into any of those and enhance them. I work with the navel center because it's literally the life force center, and we're trying to cultivate life force. So it's very important. And then we're just working on basic exercises for now, but I'm going to teach you level 3, which number 3 there, and number 3 there. Now, if you are sitting, you're going to focus more on your butt and your perineal area and your asshole, or the anus, I should say. You're going to focus on all those areas, which is the root area, the root chakra. Or if you're standing, you're going to focus on your feet, a flat foot area, okay? Or the foot area that touches the ground, but just the whole bottom of the foot is fine. So again, depending on if you're sitting, you will focus on your butt and the areas in between your butt. And if you're standing, you'll focus on your feet. So now what we're going to do for number 3 is we're going to breathe deeply and subtly into our butts. And when you exhale, you're going to focus on the head. So it's going to go down, and then it's going to go up and out. You're trying to breathe out, and you're trying to breathe out. Same way you're trying to breathe into the ground. So if you're sitting into a chair, or on a chair, imagine you're breathing into the chair, whatever's connecting to that chair, or everything that's connecting to the chair and the ground. And then you exhale, and you're pulling up out of the head, out of the top of the body. And then you breathe in again, and you pull down to your butt, to your feet. And you're pulling the pressure, you're modulating the pressure, which, the pressure is the air pressure in the body, which is controlled by the breathing. And then you pull up, and you should kind of feel your head opening and expanding, and also your butt, blood circulation getting there. This is good if you have to stand a lot or if you have to sit a lot and you start to lose circulation. Or even if you need to breathe into the head and get more, mental energy. So practice that, up and down the body. You can think. Number 4, which is the last exercise, the last basic exercise that we're going to practice, is the whole body. So you kind of center around the guts, and you focus around the guts. And now I want you to focus through the whole body, so your arms, your legs, your belly, your lower belly region, your chest, your head, the whole body, and just breathe while focusing in the whole body. What you can do is you can focus in the blood vessels, the nerves, the channels running through the body, and you can stimulate them, and then you can focus on the bones and muscles and skin and organs and everything else, right? So you just focus on everything in your body, and you're trying to breathe and expand the pressure through to everything. Same way if you're exhaling while kind of feeling with the whole body, and you can kind of exhale with the body, so to speak. And you can like inhale with the body, opening up the pressure, and you can like pull from the outside air. You're literally pulling in air. It's kind of weird, but apparently we have got little holes through our body everywhere, so maybe you're pulling it through that. Or maybe it's just a subtle exchange of etheric energy. Because what happens when you see, breathing is at the air level, but the mind is at the higher level. When you get better at breathing, you don't need to breathe, so to speak. You just pull in etheric energy from the air. Which, if you go really high up, if you have like a wire, an electrical wire, and you pull it really high up, like 100 meters, and then you connect it to a nail, and then you connect another one to like a ground, you can get like electrical sparks coming off that. If you look up those kinds of I think it's like a Corona motor or Corolla motor or something, I forget, but that's basically what we're doing. We're pulling in like voltage from the air once we get good, but that's a little more advanced. But anyway, those are your 4 basic exercises to practice. Number 1 is the lungs, just the lungs and heart, just feeling the air coming in, the blood circulating. Number 2 is your guts, warming yourself and building up hot air in the intestines and energy and pressure there. Number 3 is the grounding exercise. You can just focus on grounding. You don't have to pull it up if you don't want, but it's just another way to do it. Similarly, you can just pull it up. Do be careful if you do too much of anything. And then the 4th is the whole body. You're expanding and contracting the whole body very subtly, just with air pressure and breathing all through there. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed those breathing exercises. And of course, feel free to comment down below or to email me. Feel free to donate if you want. And of course, if you want to buy anything, check my Gumroad for books and music albums. And also check my Fiverr for divination services if you want any of those. So otherwise, have a nice day.